Hello and welcome to pmclounge.com. Today we are going to solve some questions of the stakeholder management knowledge area. These are practice questions. If you are interested in practice questions of other knowledge areas as well, then first link in the description is going to take you to a playlist that contains every single video that we have done solving questions from different knowledge areas. So check that out. Also, if you want to revise whatever that we have learned in stakeholder management knowledge area, then second link in the description is going to take you to a playlist that contains every single video that we have covered in stakeholder management knowledge area. All the concepts, processes, inputs, tools and techniques, outputs, everything is available there. So second link in the description. The playlist is very important. First, go check that out, then come here and try to solve these practice questions. All right, let's get started. Question: how do you manage the stakeholders that are very supportive and have high level of interest in the project but do not possess much influence? So you've got stakeholders that are very supportive, they have high level of interest, and they do not possess much influence. Now, if you are aware of the power interest grid, you know that this question is straight out of power interest grid. But if you are not aware of it, that's the reason why I mentioned the second link in the description. That playlist contains every single video that we have done on stakeholder management knowledge area, and that's where you will find a video on power interest grid. So go ahead, check that out first, come back and try to solve this question. In the meantime, let's look at all the four options. Option A, manage them closely. Option B, move them to leadership positions. Option C, keep them informed. Option D, ignore them. And like I said, if you are already aware of the power interest grid, by now you know the answer is C, keep them informed. So these are the stakeholders that have high interest but low power. Question 2. Which of the following is not a project stakeholder? A. People whose jobs are at stake due to the outcome of the project. B. People whose jobs are safe but they still believe that they will be impacted. Option C. Your direct competitor. And option D. None of the above. So I would like to repeat the question here. Which of the following is not a project stakeholder? The keyword here is not. So are people whose jobs are at stake due to the outcome of the project a stakeholder of your project? Of course they are. They are interested in your project, right? They will be impacted by the project. People whose jobs are safe, but they still believe that they will be impacted. That means these are the people. Option A were the people who were going to be impacted by the project. Option B are the people who believe that they will be impacted. They are also stakeholders of your project. Option C is your direct competitor. Of course, your direct competitor is a stakeholder in your project. If you answered C, you have to go back to the second link that I spoke of earlier. So your direct competitor is definitely a stakeholder because your direct competitor is someone who gets impacted by your project or at least believes to get impacted by your project, right? So all these three A, B, C are stakeholders of your project. The correct answer to this question is D, none of the above. Okay, question number 3. The power interest grid is a tool that helps too. So what does the power interest grid do? A. Identify as many stakeholders as possible. B. Identify stakeholders' requirements from the project. So A is first you identify all the people that are going to be stakeholders in your project. And option B is then find out what those stakeholders want from your project. C. Analyze the stakeholders' position in terms of their power or influence and interest in the project. Okay. Option D is put together the escalation metrics. So what do you think is the right answer to this question? The right answer to this question is definitely option C because this is what the power and interest grid is all about. You are going to analyze the positions of your stakeholders based on the power or influence that they have and the interest that they have. This is the power and interest grid, right? So obvious answer to this question is option C. Okay, question number 4. Which of the following is not, remember the word here is not, an engagement level in the stakeholder engagement matrix? Now, if you're wondering what is stakeholder engagement matrix, if you don't know what this is, you at least know what you need to do. Hint, you need to check out the second link in the description of this video, because that link is going to take you to a playlist, and that playlist has a video on stakeholder engagement matrix. So there are 5 levels of engagements in the stakeholder engagement matrix, and you need to answer which of the following is not in one of those 5 levels. A, negative stakeholder; B, supportive stakeholder; C, leading stakeholder; and D, neutral stakeholder. So the 5 levels of engagement in the stakeholder engagement matrix are unaware stakeholder, resistant stakeholder, neutral stakeholder, supportive stakeholder, and leading stakeholder. So obviously negative stakeholder is not an engagement level. You have resistant stakeholder, which are also known as negative stakeholders, but they are actually the people that are resistant to the project. They are not termed negative stakeholders. So the correct answer to this question is negative stakeholder. Okay, question number 5, the last question for this video. Which of the following process group does not have a stakeholder management process? So which of the following process group? That means this question is actually right out of the PGKA mapping, the process group and knowledge area mapping. Now, a lot of people actually tell you that you need to learn all the 49 processes under the different process groups and knowledge areas. And I always tell you that you need not do that. And a lot of folks that come over at vnclounge.com, our community members, and they have written their experiences, they have made videos with me. All of that will be linked in the description if you want to check. But all of them say that you don't have to learn the PGKA mapping. See, PMP is not a test of your memorization. PMP is a test of your understanding of project management. And that is why every time that we cover a process, we try to include the PGKA mapping so that, you kind of have an understanding of where this process lies and what it is supposed to do, since it lies in a certain process group and a certain knowledge area. So in fact, if you have gone over our videos, all the videos that we have done in stakeholder management knowledge area, all the processes, you will be able to answer this question fairly easily. In fact, I would like to ask you to write all the processes of stakeholder management knowledge area in the comment below. Pause this video and write all the processes of stakeholder management knowledge area. And then also write which process group they belong to. If you try to do that, and if you are able to successfully do that, you don't really need to mug up PGKA mapping, because you already understand what these processes do, and that's why which process group should they fall into. So let's look at the options. Option A, monitoring and controlling process group. Option B, initiating process group. Option C, executing process group. And option D, closing process group. So you already know that there are 4 processes under stakeholder management knowledge area, one each under one process group. So there is a process under initiating process group, there is a process under planning process group as well, which is not mentioned in the options here. There is one process in the executing process group, and then there is one process in the monitoring and controlling process group as well. There is no stakeholder management process in the closing process group. So the correct answer to this question is obviously D, closing process group. I hope that was clear. So that's all that we had in this video. I hope you were able to answer all these questions correctly. Smash that like button if you got value out of it. It helps us stay motivated and create more free content for you. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to stay notified whenever we upload new content. Also, don't forget to check out the website pmclounge.com, your number one free PMP resource. Thank you.